A lot of excited kids of all ages we are seeing. So absolutely. All right, the Kaplans from Pasadena, welcome. Shabbat Shalom, dear friends. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach. Welcome to our Tu BiShvat Seder and our Shabbat celebration. It's so good for us to be together safely tonight to celebrate the Jewish New Year for trees. It seems like just a few months ago, we were celebrating the Jewish New Year of Rosh Hashanah. This is Rosh Hashanah La'ilanot, the New Year for trees in our tradition. This is like a Jewish Earth Day. Tonight, we are going to thank God for all the blessings that flow from the trees and from the earth. And we're going to express our heartfelt gratitude for the natural world in all of its wonder and in all of its beauty. So we'll do so in a Seder modeled after the Passover Seder with 4 cups of grape juice and wine. So if you've got the 4 cups or you've got different grape juice and wine ready, we hope you have that ready. And with special foods, we celebrate with special foods that grow here and in our Jewish homeland, the land of Israel, which is right behind me. That is the Jewish city of Sfat, where this Tu BiShvat Seder originated in the 1500s, almost 500 years ago. So we'll celebrate with special foods from the land of Israel. We'll celebrate with songs and with stories. And tonight we are so honored to be led by our 3rd graders in religious school. Let's hear it for our 3rd graders. It is our custom at Temple Sinai for Tu BiShvat to have our 3rd graders lead us. So let's begin by bringing in the light and the warmth and the joy of Shabbat with Sabbath candle lighting, with our 3rd graders spotlighted, and with our creative 3rd grade teacher, Frances Tiger, is with us tonight. And Miss Tiger's teen assistant, a shout out to Sarah Gallegos. Oh, I'm meeting her right now. Welcome to Sarah Gallegos, 3rd grade teen assistant. Welcome to all of our 3rd graders. And Miss Francis, look, there they are. Hi, guys. What's our limit, Jason? Is our limit?
I'm getting there. It's just a little slow.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Renee, you'd ask if that was Spot in the background. I am impressed that you recognize the city. It's the mountains right behind, the beautiful mountains right behind. And yeah, that's where it all began. The Tu BiShvat Seder, that's where it all began. Although the Jewish people have been celebrating Tu BiShvat for thousands of years, it's in the Talmud. The Talmud talks about the holiday of Tu BiShvat. So we all are participating in a thousands of year old holiday and the Seder, 500 years old. And I think my grape juice is not 500 years old, but maybe a little bit less than that. All right, great. So what do we think? Do we have, Jason, you still working on it? Is there?
I think we have all the kids. Was having video trouble, so hers is not on.
Okay, what about Sarah? Is maybe Sarah doesn't have her?
And Sarah's video is not yet on, but if she turns it on, I'll get it into.
Okay, all right, well, great. Well, this is not in your Haggadah, but I think a lot of you know the blessing that Cantor is going to lead us in chanting in just a moment, Lahadlik Ner Shel Shabbat. At this time, we would be honored to have our 3rd grade families light those beautiful Shabbat candles if you've got them.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you, Cantor. Thank you, 3rd grade families. While we're enjoying looking at these beautiful young families here in our temple community. We think of all of our families near and far, everybody on our Zoom Seder tonight, and family who's not here. We think of them, we hold them in our hearts as we now join in our family blessing, asking God's blessings of peace, goodness, well-being for us, for the entire world.
May God bless you and keep you. May He shine His face upon you and grace you. May He lift His presence unto you and grant you peace. May God bless you and keep you. May she shine her face upon you and grace you. May she lift her presence unto you and grant you peace. And grant you peace.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Well, let us begin our Tu BiShvat Seder. We are on page 2 in our Haggadah. We're in the middle of page 2, and we are honored to call upon third grader Liam Boxer to begin our Seder. There he is.
Do I start now?
Yeah, Liam, that would be great.
On Tu BiShvat, our ancestors look forward to the pink flowers of spring, the red and yellow fruit of summer, when they would bring gifts to the temple and provide for the poor.
Oh, thank you. And let's all say together in our homes, we too rejoice at the renewal of life.
You can say it.
And thank God for the blessings of branch and bud.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, that was great, Liam. Thank you. That was wonderful. And that challah looks delicious. We're going to say a blessing for that in a little bit. Looks wonderful. Thank you, Liam. Appreciate it. And Alexis and Oren, and if Noah was there, thank you all so much. Well, let us now look at the top of page 3 as we continue. Let us talk about the renewal of trees. There he is. Eiler Lorenzen and his dad, Dave. Hi, Eiler.
Hi.
Whenever you're ready, sir. And again, so Eiler's going to lead us in the top of the page, and in the italics. Dave, can you lead for the congregation? Can you do the, can you also do, and I see Amber there, can you guys do the response in italics?
Sure. Say it. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Eiler, whenever you're ready, sir.
On this day, when we celebrate the renewal of trees, we remember that God created all plants and trees. Then God said, "See, I give you every seed-bearing plant that is upon the earth, and every tree that is upon all the earth, and every tree that has seed-bearing fruits. They shall be yours for food." And it was so.
And God saw that all that was done and found it very good.
Thank you. Yes, it was Tov Ma'od, and that was Tov Ma'od reading, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, let's tell a little story. Let's tell a little story as we get ready for our first cup of grape juice or wine. This is a Hasidic story from the Ukraine. We may have people here who have ancestors from the Ukraine. And Madeline Paulding, third grader Madeline, is going to help us out. And it's great to see your brother James there and see Dad. Hey, Joe. So let's see, Madeline, will you tell us about a Hasidic Rebbe named Zev Wolf, Rabbi Wolf Zittemeyer?
The wagon's driver's blessing. Rabbi Wolf Zittemeyer was an innkeeper in a village. A Jewish wagon driver entered and asked for a glass of wine. When he was about to drink it without reciting a blessing, the rabbi stopped him and said, "Do you realize the wondrous laws God used to produce the fruit of the soil before it became the drink which you enjoy. He promptly recited the blessing, and the rabbi answered, Amen.
Thank you, Madeline. Yes, we say a blessing, thanking God for all the wonderful things on this earth that nourish and sustain us, like delicious grape juice, and for adults who enjoy wine. So we're going to now drink in the seasons. We're going to drink in the 4 seasons with 4 cups of wine or 4 cups of grape juice, whatever you have there. And so now is the time to get ready to pour the first cup. It's white, entirely white wine or grape juice, as it says, the bottom of page 3. It reminds us of winter. So we're in the season of winter. We're going to start by drinking in winter. It's all white wine or grape juice, reminding us when nature is asleep, the earth is barren, sometimes snow-covered, depending on where you're at right now, awaiting the rebirth of spring. And let's all say together at home, we join in the blessing over wine and grape juice and give thanks that we can be together in celebration of BiShvat. So we'd like to invite you now to pour that cup of white wine or grape juice. Mine comes courtesy of Kroger.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen l'chaim.
Chaim. Winter never tasted so good. All right, we hope that you are enjoying the tastes of winter. And where was that beautiful challah? Was that Eiler's? No, Liam, that was your challah. Let's show that beautiful challah that Liam has right in front of him. And we are going to do motzi right now for those of you who are also having dinner, as well as participating in the BiShvat Seder. And we don't want to make Liam wait too long to be able to enjoy that challah with his family. So looking at that, we're going to share together in the blessing as Cantor leads us in hamotzi. Oh, Cantor, you baked some bread too? You were able to bake some bread?
I baked some bread today, and the whole house smelled wonderful. It was awesome.
Nice. Anything special to on top or inside?
It's an oat bread. So
oat bread, very nice. Oh, and Madeline's got some bread too. Very nice. Liam, I like how yours has sesame seeds. I like all your breads. It looks delicious. All right. Well, Cantor would be honored to have you lead us, and we'll all do hamotzi at home.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon.
Yeah, enjoy, guys. A number of our 3rd graders have delicious looking chalot at home. Yum. All right. Well, speaking of
Kita Gimel has been preparing
yeah, Francis, I know you're trying to mention something about.
I think we lost her again.
Yeah, she was glitching a little bit. So, but
yeah, I'm having lots of glitching. Are you hearing me now?
We can, yes.
So Kita Gimel has a Shabbat box of the Secret Days of Creation, and they have other things for Shabbat. They made their challah cover, if you're able to see it, and I hope they're using it tonight.
Oh, it looks like they're having a wonderful Shabbat celebration.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Francis. Well, and let us learn a little bit about the foods the delicious, nourishing foods that are indigenous to the Eretz Israel, the Jewish homeland. And the book of Deuteronomy in the Torah tells us all about it. We would be so honored actually to have Reese Guthman, third grader Reese. There you are with Dad. Hi, Reese. Hi, Alex.
Hello, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Reese, will you tell us about the delicious fruits and grains in the land of Israel that the Torah talks about?
We thank you too for the land of Israel as we read. Your God is bringing you into a good land, a land with streams and springs and fountains issuing from plain and hill, a land of wheat and barley, of vines, figs, and pomegranates, a land of olive trees and honey, a land where you may eat food without stint.
Oh, thank you, Reese. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. And your Seder plate looks fantastic. I see your Shabbat candles. Hug from Dad there. That was wonderful. I wonder what she's laughing about. So on the if I was going to say for everybody, if you saw when Jason shared the reading in the Haggadah, you can see right to the left of what Reese read. It's got a picture. Yeah, it's got a picture of what's called Shivat Haminim, the 7 species that are indigenous to the land of Israel, and they have certainly more fruits and grains that are indigenous to the land, but these are the specific 7 that are mentioned in the Torah. And as it also says a little bit later in the book of Deuteronomy, that the land of Israel is a land that Zavat Chalav Udavash, it flows with milk and with honey, as well as these items. So Cantor's going to lead us in this wonderful song. Cantor, is this song an Israeli folk song?
It's credited to Eli Gamliel.
Oh,
but I do imagine it is also known as a folk song in Israel. Eretz zavat chalav, chalav udavash. 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 Eretz zavat chalav, zavat chalav udavash. Eretz zavat chalav, zavat chalav udavash.
thank you, Cantor. Thank you so much. Are you all ready for a second cup of grape juice or wine? What do we think? Are we ready to drink in another season? I think it is time. We're going to start eating those fruits and nuts soon. But before we do, let us now drink in our next season, the season of springtime. So now this second cup of wine or grape juice is darker. So we're going to pour, as it says, we're going to pour a bit. If you still have some grape juice or wine that is white, we're going to pour in a little bit of dark grape juice or wine, and we're going to watch those colors change. So I've got the Kedem grape juice that I think, yes, got a kosher symbol on it. Yes, so I'm going to pour that into my Kroger white. And it should turn like a nice little, what is that? For those of you wine drinkers, is that like a rosé or is that a?
That basically is like rosé. Yeah.
Is it a rosé? I see. Is a blush a type of wine?
Blush, yeah, that's yeah.
Is blush lighter than a rosé?
Someone else might know better than I would, but I think it's like a level of rosé, and it's like a lighter rosé.
Okay, all right, nice.
Range, so it's the same thing.
Oh, it's about the same thing.
That's what I thought.
Okay, well, I've got like pink or salmon colored grape juice now. I don't know what color you guys have, but this is springtime that we are drinking in. Cantor, we'd be honored to have you lead us in Brei Pri Hagafen again.
Absolutely. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Chaim.
L'chaim. Delicious. Delicious. Ooh, Maggie and Jan, you got a couple of, yeah, you've got the different wine cups right there in front of you. You are prepared. Look at that. They've got those seasons laid out right there. Nice. Nice.
It's a
Good
nice,
job.
It's a nice little flight that they have there.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Oh, and I love yours. By the way, the candles we talked about, Spot behind me, are those the famous Safed candles? Yeah, yeah. Spot is known for their beautiful rolling hills, the Jewish mysticism that we're going to talk about briefly in just a little bit. They're known for their art colony, and they're also known for their candles, I think. So they're beautiful, the beautiful multicolored candles that you can find, I think, on Amazon. Did you guys travel the Spot to get those candles? Maggie and Jan? No, no.
They were a gift.
Nice. So
Maybe
either
somebody
somebody
else did.
traveled to Spot or they got them on Amazon.
One of the two.
Well, very nice. Well, we are going to call upon now third grader. There's Julian. Julian Wilkes is going to share a wonderful story, a wonderful, wonderful Hasidic story by the Gerer Rebbe that you can find on the bottom page 4. So Julian, sir, whenever you're ready.
The Gerer Rebbe told this parable. When a person fell from a boat into the sea, the captain threw him a rope and shouted, "Take hold of this rope and do not let go, for if you do, you will lose your life." The rabbi then remarked, "This story illustrates the verse, the Torah, is a tree of life to all those who take hold of it. If you let go, you will lose your life."
Aha. Okay. So the Torah is like a rope, a lifeline to God and to Judaism and to the world. And it's such a great story, as I like to do. And thank you so much. Thank you, Julian. Thank you so much. What I like to do from year to year, I like to see who remembers, because this story that Julian told so wonderfully is told in a movie based upon a novel from the 1960s set in Brooklyn, New York, one of my favorite movies of all time, and a famous actor who I'll tell you about in a second. He tells the story that Julian tells. Julian, I like the way you told it better. But it isn't a famous Jewish movie. Does anybody remember hearing this story in a movie, a Jewish movie that you saw? Aha, Kim, Selfon, Kim and Steve, The Chosen, yes. Chaim Potok's The Chosen. What a great novel and what a great movie. And, oh, so who knows? Do you guys know if anybody else knew that it was The Chosen? The man who plays the Brooklyn Rebbe is, who knows the famous actor who played the Brooklyn Rebbe who retells the story of the Gerer Rebbe? He was a famous method actor. He acted with Marlon Brando. Yes, Emma, well done. Rod Steiger, On the Waterfront and in The Chosen. It was you, Gerer Rebbe. It was you. Oh, that was Marlon Brando's line. I can't do Brando, but yes. A great, great movie and a great story. Thank you, Julian. So as the Gerer Rebbe said, it is a lifeline, and we say in Judaism, it is a tree of life, and it's Chaim. Cantor, do you have a song for us about how it's a tree of life, the Torah is?
I do, in fact. I think this is one that many of you know. In fact, after we go shalom, shalom, clap, 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 clap. So if you want to join in on those claps at home, please do so, and please join me. Shalom, 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 shalom. It is a tree of life to them who pass to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree
All right. Thank you, Cantor. Did you see some great dancing? I saw some great dancing and clapping. Well done. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Well, we sing that Torah is a tree of life. How also are the trees in our world? How do they enliven us as well? Think about that for a second. And to answer that question, we turn to our third grader, Julian, who along with several of his third grade classmates, they have prepared videos for us tonight, short videos teaching us about trees and the special trees in their backyards. So let's now hear from Julian on video about how trees enliven us on this earth.
Hey Julian, can you tell us a little bit about how trees help our world?
Well, one thing that trees do to help us is they give us oxygen. They can also give us food, like from fruits and lemons and stuff like that, pomegranates and avocados.
Which we have.
And another reason is that they can give us shelter for they can give animals shelter from storms or something like that.
All right, let's hear it for Julian. Thank you, Julian. Yes, so many things that trees do to benefit the world. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it's for this reason, I think a lot of the reasons that Julian mentioned, that trees are so vital to human life and animal life and to the earth, is so vital that's why I think we do say that Torah is like a tree. We take the tree as the example of how to be nourishing and life-giving and organic and rooted and stretching out and really just touching everything in this world and benefiting everything in this world. That's why we call Torah a tree of life. And in Judaism, the Jewish mystics who live right behind me here, who I mentioned, created this BiShvat Seder. They recognized too that imagery of the tree, and they saw, they perceived that God, the creator of this beautiful planet and world that we live in and the universe that we live in, that God is also like a tree, a divine tree of life. And so the Jewish mystics who created the Seder used that imagery, and there you can see it in the Haggadah on page 5. Now, we're not going to read through it tonight just for purposes of time, but we encourage you to read through all these sections where a Jewish mystical element is included, and it gives us a little bit of a background to this BiShvat Seder, but there's so much we want to share tonight. We're just going to save those readings for you to do at home now or later. But if you're interested in learning more about Jewish mysticism and Kabbalah, which is the term in Judaism to receive the wisdom, this Jewish mystical wisdom, I'm going to be teaching a class in next month, 3 Wednesdays in February, and we'll learn about how God is like a divine tree, how we're like a divine tree, and many other things about Jewish mysticism in a program called Kabbalah, I'm calling it Kabbalah Made Simple, how to understand Jewish mysticism and apply it to your life. So a little plug there, stay tuned. If you're interested, join me Wednesday nights in February, and Jason will be sending out more information about that. But let us return to what our Jewish mystics have created for us tonight in this BiShvat Seder. They mentioned that there are 3 types of foods that we can eat during a BiShvat Seder. And by eating those 3 types of foods, we're going to help God bring blessing and nourishment and a bountiful harvest into the world. So 3 types of fruits and nuts. One is fruits and nuts with shells. One is fruits that have a pit inside, and the other is entirely edible. Those are the 3 edible types of foods for BiShvat, and we're going to eat them all. And we want to thank our ritual committee for providing us, if you picked up here at the temple, the bag of foods that our ritual committee has provided for us tonight. Fruits with shells is the first thing that we're going to eat, but we're not going to eat it yet. So let's wait. Oh, there we go. So here are some of the fruits with shells. They provided us with 2 types of nuts. We have walnuts, we have almonds, We also have a cutie. We have an orange. I think Julian mentioned a pomegranate tree. We have an etrog tree here at Temple. And so to teach us a little bit more about the first tree to blossom in Israel, which is a fruit, so to speak, with a shell. To teach us about that on page 6, we are honored to again call upon Liam Boxer. Liam, will you tell us all about this special tree? Page 6.
The almond tree is the first tree to greet BiShvat in Israel. It is the first to awaken out of its winter sleep. By BiShvat it is already full of flowers. I said to the almond tree, "Sister, speak to me of God," and the almond tree blossomed.
Very nice.
Wow, thank you, Liam. That was wonderful. That was wonderful. Wow. Thank you. We're going to enjoy those almonds in just a moment. Cantor has a wonderful song for us tonight in celebration of Tu B'Shvat.
Yes, so it's an awesome song called Ya'alo Sadai, and you're going to get the words in front of you on the screen in just a moment. It's an excerpt from Psalm 96, which is one of our Psalms for Shabbat, actually, which talks about all of the trees of the forest and the fields rejoicing in song. So it definitely seems very fitting to include for Tu B'Shvat. So maybe you remember this one from last year. Some of the kids might remember this one too. We've done it in class. So it's very easy to sing along once you get it.
All right, thank you, Cantor. That was fantastic. That was wonderful. Hey, was it just me or did anybody else pick up a little percussion also going on in Cantor's abode? Cantor, I'm going to take a guess here. Was that your roommate doing percussion or was that you?
No, that was me. I attached a shaker to strap on my leg. And
you're kidding.
Attempted as best as I could.
Oh
yeah.
My goodness. A one-person band. Cantor, you had percussion. I love it. I love it. That is dedication. Thank you. What a smart idea. Is that like a special percussion, strap? What is that thing?
I had it from one of my exercise video games, so I repurposed it. Yeah. It's supposed to hold a video game controller.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for going the extra mile on that. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. Wow. Well, and we've got more surprises tonight and more wonderful creativity. We've got 3 more videos from our 3rd graders to tell us a little bit more about fruits that have shells that they have in their backyard. So we're going to hear from Madeline and Reese and Liam.
Thank you to our little lemon tree for giving our family lemons. Thank you, orange tree, for your yummy oranges.
Okay, this is our lemon tree. Once we made lemonade out of it, and I like making lemonade out of it. And we're celebrating Tu BiShvat, and we like to cook stuff with it. And once Noah got that super weird lemon.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Liam, Reese, Madeline. That was wonderful. It looks like you've got access to some delicious fruit and nourishment right there in your backyard. I wonder if other people might want to, being inspired by our third graders, if you'll type in the chat box if you have any fruit-bearing trees in your yards. That would be cool to see. That would be cool to see. And thank you again to our third graders for providing these fantastic videos. We really appreciate it. So as people are putting in their the trees that they have in their yards, all right, good stuff. Oranges and lemons and grapefruits and limes and tangerine. Oh, figs and pomegranates, persimmons and peaches. Fantastic. New house. Congrats, Justin. Congrats. And apples. Wow, guava and fig and Meyer lemons. Awesome. Well, we're now going to eat that first type of fruit that the Jewish mystics in Tzfat suggested that we eat at this Jewish New Year for trees to help to thank God and to bring the flow of God's loving energy into the universe. And the Jewish mystics teach us that if we say the blessing with the whole heart, really so focused, totally focused on the words of the blessing, that's going to help God bring God's shefa, God's divine flow of abundance and love into the universe. So we're going to do that, and we're going to ask you to please take out if you have a fruit or a nut that comes with the shell. So again, that's almonds. If you picked it up here at Temple, that's walnuts. That's a cutie. So and you may have some other ones as well. And as you're getting ready for that food, you can see here in our Haggadah on page 7, this first kind of fruit we taste has a shell which cannot be eaten. This shell protects the fruit inside, just as a baby is protected inside in its mother's womb, or as a young child is protected by its parents. So with that in mind, so here's the blessing, Borei Pri Ha'etz. We're going to say it 3 times tonight. And so as we say it, again, if we could do it with full heart, with full sense of gratitude to make our Tu BiShvat Seder all the more special. So, so if you're ready, if you've got those fruits or nuts with the shell ready, let's say the blessing together at home. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri ha'etz. We praise you, eternal our God, sovereign source of the universe, who creates the fruit of the tree. And we can begin eating but Cantor's also going to lead us in the Shechianu, thanking God for allowing us to reach this season and this holiday, holy day of Tu BiShvat. So we'll join in Shechianu as well as we enjoy the fruits and the nuts.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Amen.
Avon, enjoy everybody. It tastes delicious. It tastes especially delicious tonight. I had to look up, Cantor, what a cutie is made out of. Is it an orange? Is it a tangerine?
Clementine.
Yeah, a clementine. And then I had to look up what a clementine is. And that's an orange, I take it?
It's its own kind of offshoot.
Aha.
From it's I think it's closer related to a mandarin orange
Right,
or a
right. Yeah.
tangerine, kind of somewhere in between those.
Yes.
It's like a smaller, seedless, sweeter version.
Yeah, well, they are tasty. They are delicious. And, you know, the walnuts that have been provided for us by our ritual committee and Seth Chasnoff and Preston Oppenheimer were here placing all of that in the bags. And our entire ritual committee was very helpful in this Tu BiShvat Seder, our ritual committee that is chaired by Maggie Freed. As they were preparing all that, and I was thinking that the walnuts, you may have heard, are so great. They're so nuts are so healthy, so much in fact that my mom used to have a business called Grandma's Nuts. So it's great to have my mom, who used to have the nut business, and she used to send us nuts every year. And as she knows, they are so healthy, and the walnuts in particular, I heard, are really tremendously good for our brains.
Is that why they look like brains?
Yeah, I guess so, right, Cantor? It looks like a little brain, like a little hemisphere of our brain. Oh yeah, this one's got both hemispheres. Look at that. Left brain, right brain. Are you left brain? Are you right brain? They're both
it's
there.
one of the interesting things about nature is the way certain patterns make their way, just like the brain and the walnuts, and also our blood vessels, like the leaves. And if you look closely to the pattern of the water flow through leaves, it's also like that.
Nice, I love it. Yeah, like the veins. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the veins in the leaves and in our bodies. It is amazing, the creativity and the beauty of this natural world that we're celebrating tonight, and that we also celebrate each and every Shabbat. Well, those walnuts have a particularly interesting, as well as being good for our brains. There's a great story about how the Jewish people are like walnuts. And to tell us more about that, Eiler, if you will tell us how walnuts are like the Jewish people.
Rabbi Tarfon compared the people of Israel to a pile of walnuts. If one walnut is removed, each and every walnut in the pile will be shaken. When a single Jew is in trouble, every other Jew is shaken and affected.
All right, so it's like we are there for each other. We are there to support each other. So Eiler, I waited especially before having my walnut to wait till you shared that story. So now I'm gonna enjoy the walnut. I don't know if you guys feel about walnuts. I love nuts, almonds, cashews, peanuts. I want to love walnuts because they're so good for you. But I must say, I think I really need chocolate covering this to really enjoy
they lend
the
themselves
taste
well
of a walnut.
to pairing with other things. You can cook with them. You can they're better when they're toasted. Raw walnuts don't have much flavor.
Oh, do you cook with walnuts, Cantor?
Yeah, I do. I've cooked with walnuts lots of times. Yeah, but I'd say especially if they're roasted or toasted, they'll taste a little better.
And what do you call it when you pour, like you have hot sugar poured over something?
Candied nuts, yeah.
Candied, yes. Maybe that's what I need to do, is find the candied walnuts.
I've done that with walnuts, still tastes great.
Do they taste great?
They do.
That's the way to do it. Yeah, Seth, I agree. They're sort of bland, but what Cantor's describing is a way for us to enjoy the taste of walnuts and I guess benefit from the nutritional benefits.
I don't know if it
good
was
in banana
Emma or
bread,
if it was Carolyn, but walnuts are good in banana bread. I agree, definitely.
Wow. And
by
the way,
yeah, they go well in other things.
And banana, yeah, you're right. They do taste. Emma's in Denver, Colorado. Emma, Carolyn's daughter, and mom is there, right, too, and your husband, Matt. So Emma, it's so great to be with you, and mom and Matt, thank you for joining us. Oh, chocolate walnut challah. Now you're talking. Now you are talking. All right, we're gonna have to try that. Does Trader Joe's sell that? That's the only way I'm gonna be able to eat that. All right, well, let us continue. We hope you're enjoying the fruits and the nuts that have an outer shell. We are getting ready for the opposite. We are getting ready to eat one of the other three types of fruits, which is a fruit with a pit, which was a hard inner core. So that includes olives, dates, apricots, peaches, plums, and prunes. So hopefully you have one of those at home or two of those at home. I picked up some dates today from Ralph's. It's amazing how many different types of dates you can get at Ralph's. I'm referring to the fruit, nothing more than that.
There's Deglet and there's oh, what's the other one? The other really popular one. Oh, I can't think of the name of it. But yeah, you're right. There are
the brand name?
What?
The brand name?
No, not the brand name, the varietal. Yeah.
Oh, there's more than one variety of date?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, we are learning a lot tonight about fruits and nuts, which is great, because I think the more we learn about it, the more we can really appreciate the variety of ways that we can be nourished on this.
You know, what's also nice, Rabbi, is a lot of Israelis like to cook with silan, which is date syrup.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. And have it for Passover too. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a second.
Medjool, we're going to. I knew it started with an M.
Oh, Emma's got it?
Medjool and Deglet are the two kinds of dates that I know, but that there might be more varietals besides just those two, I think.
Okay. All right. Well, very neat. Very neat. This is, I love it. I love it. Well, so let us now, well, actually, Cantor, what you were referencing, were you talking about in Israel, you know, making date syrup and cooking with date syrup? When we all sang Eretz Zavat Chalav Udvash, that Israel is a land flowing with milk and with honey. The honey that is spoken of is in all probability, honey not from bees, but honey from dates. They do have bees in Israel, but I think they have more dates. So that may be the honey they're talking about when they say that Israel's a land flowing with milk and honey. And dates are so important in Israeli culture and literature and art that we have a song here. Cantor, is there anything you want to do to introduce this song?
Sure. So Sarikatamar is another one of our psalms specific to Shabbat. And Sarikatamar, it means righteous like the date tree. So it's talking about being the righteous shall flourish like the date tree, and also like the cedars of Lebanon. They will be fruitful, you know, and they will be planted in the house of Adonai. They will flourish in the courts of our Creator. Yeah. So and it also even goes on to say that even in old age they will be ripe and full of sap. So continuing to be fruitful forever in their righteousness. So please join me with Sarikatamar. Sarikatamar Ifra Ke'eres Balvanon Yizkar Shetulim Beveit Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yenuvon Beseivan Deshenim Verananim Yiyu Lehagim Ki Yashar Adonai Turi Velo Avlatabon.
Thank you, Cantor. Thank you. Well, before we all enjoy the fruits that have a pit inside, let's watch a video about a fruit with a pit inside. And this video, again, comes from Julian Wilk. So let's see what Julian has to say about a fruit tree in his yard.
Over here, we have a little
Ah, it's
It
a
was-
baby one.
Yeah. Actually, I planted it a long time ago, but it took a long time to grow.
And how did you get the seed from?
Well, we just split open a large avocado and put the seed on some skewers and put it in a cup of water. And it sprouted after it got about an inch tall. We transferred it to this pot.
Yeah, it's still a little baby, huh? And then we're
With those
gonna.
little cute leaves.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that avocado trees give us is the food from the avocado. This one's so small it won't give off a fruit yet.
It would take years, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, we hope, Julian, thank you so much for sharing that. And that's his mom, Anna, also sharing with us. And thank you. Oh, there she is. And there's Ben, there's Dad. Thank you, Julian. So, so how long is it going to take for that avocado to sort of sprout? Or is that the right word? Or
Years.
bloom? It's going to be years.
To give fruit many
Yeah.
years. Still only that tall after like two.
Oh, so you
2
will need
years.
to come back from college.
When you come back from college, it'll be
It's
ready
not
for
even
you.
a sapling yet, right? It's just sprouted. It's not a sapling.
Yeah.
Right.
That's good. That's good. Well, and very California, right? Avocado tree. What other types of trees do you have in your backyard?
I have a
I mean,
lemon
fruit bearing,
tree,
lemons.
And our next door neighbor has a
Pomegranate.
pomegranate tree that they actually, the seed landed on our side and we had a pomegranate tree, unfortunately, it's next to our wall. So we had to take it down or else it would take the wall, the roots.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
The seed fell on your side and it produced a tree.
Yes.
And it was such a powerful tree.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, they grow fast.
Wow.
That
Well,
is
pomegranates
something.
do have a lot of seeds in them. So
Yep.
Right. Our tradition says, Cantor, what? 613, like 613 mitzvot.
just like the mitzvot, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Or many mitzvot. Well, and we can see that you have on your Seder plate, I can see an olive. So that is a fruit with a pit. Do you have dates there too? Is that what I'm looking at behind the apple? Nice. All right. Well, we're now getting ready then, all of us, to if you have a fruit at home that has a pit, such as a date or an olive or an apricot, a peach, a plum, or a prune, we're going to say the blessing now, and then we're going to enjoy those various fruits. So again, according to our ancestors, the Jewish mystics, we want to say this prayer if we can with full heart, full gratitude. The Berei Pri Ha'etz. Together we pray, Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu Melech Ha'olam, Borei Pri Ha'etz. I can see how they make honey out of dates, right? So sweet. Does anybody make honey from dates? Does anybody have that tradition for Passover? The charoset, sometimes the charoset, if you come from a Sephardic background, it's pureed dates. That's charoset. It's not apples and honey and wine. It's pureed dates. Nobody? No.
Yeah, I went to a Sephardic Pesach, and they had not just one kind of date charoset, but there were about 4 different varieties. They were all delicious.
Wow. Wow. 4 different varieties. So it's a real thing.
They do
there.
usually use like a paste of dried fruits more so than, you know, they'll maybe incorporate a little bit of fresh, but it's definitely more of a, it definitely might be a little more reminiscent of the brick and mortars than the Ashkenazi version.
Yes.
No.
I wonder, if I could, if Julian and Liam have their plant. We planted in class. How's it growing?
Oh, there it is, Alexis.
Yeah, did you have, oh, good. Liam's got his, woo! Oh, you got a sprout.
Great. What is that again?
You got a sprout.
Nice.
What plant was it?
Yeah, what are we looking at there?
What's
What
that,
do we
Liam?
plant, Liam? Liam,
What
what
is
do we?
It's a pea plant.
Is it pea plant? I wanted to make
Oh, so
food.
pea
I didn't
food,
want to give
okay.
him a tree.
That'll take a little
Small
bit.
plant.
We hold it up so everybody can see it.
Oh, there's
Starting.
you guys got sprouts.
I love it.
They're starting from the bottom.
How long will that take to sprout?
Not long at all. That's why we did the
Even
pea
has.
plant. They're gonna have some peas.
Yeah. Those grow pretty, I think they're known for growing pretty fast, actually.
Yeah, these are, here's what we do. Matures in 63 days.
63 days to be exact, not 62, not 64, but
Exactly.
63.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking.
That's pretty precise. Wonderful. Francis, is that your mom?
That's my
Yes,
mom.
it is.
This is Julie.
Hello. Hi, Shabbat
Nice to
Shalom.
be here. Nice to be here.
Yeah, that's why I came to Santa Barbara, and I'm sorry the transmission's been so bad.
Oh, so you're in Santa Barbara.
I'm
It's
in
been
Santa
better since you've been
Yeah.
together from this one, so it's been good.
Yeah, I changed devices. Thank you. I really haven't had so much trouble since I got my new iPhone 13. Okay.
Ah, well.
I'm so happy to join you and have her.
So
It's
great
just
to be
growing.
with both.
It's nature.
Mom,
Yeah.
look at the bottom. You see the second one where the
Very nice.
Thank you for remembering your
Well,
space, Liam.
as we're enjoying the fruits with pits, and I'm still enjoying the fruits with shells as well as the fruits with pits, we're now getting ready for that third type of a fruit that are part of the third type of fruit that is part of the Tu BiShvat Seder that the Jewish mystics, the Kabbalists talk about, which is the entirely edible fruit, which is carob. And again, our ritual committee has provided us with carob chips. It is also apples, which they have provided an apple. So as we recognize, not entirely edible because it does have seeds that are not good to eat, but 99.5% entirely edible. And we have raisins, which are entirely edible. And yeah, and you may have some figs. Oh, we saw some figs. People mentioned they had figs. I saw some figs. I have fig Newtons. I'll use that one. And strawberries and pears. So to tell us about the carob, there is a famous carob story in Judaism that you may have heard of. And if you haven't, we are so honored to call Julian to tell us about Choni the circle maker. We're at the bottom of page 9, everybody.
One day, Choni was journeying on the road when he saw a man planting a carob tree. He asked him, "How long does it take for this tree to bear fruit?" The man replied, 70 years. Then he asked, "Are you certain that you will live another 70 years? The man replied, "Just as I found ready-grown carob trees in the world, as my ancestors planted these for me, so I too plant these for my children."
Thank you, Julian. Thank you. So this is the Jewish Rip Van Winkle. Part of the story that's left out is he falls asleep and for 70 years. So very
It's the
interesting.
Jewish Rip Van Winkle story.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And a little bit of Johnny Appleseed, I guess, too, with a little planting of things. So important. Just as my ancestors planted for me, so too we plant these for our children. We keep that going.
Rabbi,
Yes,
I've
Leonard.
heard this story before, but I think there's a slight correction needed to it.
Yeah.
Where he says, I planted it for my ancestors, that my ancestors planted it for me. So do I plant these for my grandchildren?
Oh, right, because 70 years would be a
That's how
grandchild.
I've heard the story before.
Yeah, absolutely. And even more of a preparing for future generations. Thank you, Leonard. Absolutely. Absolutely. So we do have the carob trees. And by the way, we have a carob tree here at Temple Sinai in our biblical garden. I have yet to taste its carob. I don't know if anybody has. I don't think they come out with these beautiful little chips that you find at Trader
I dare
Joe's.
say they do not.
So, but that's what we have courtesy of the ritual committee. So we have our carob, we have raisins, we have apple, we have fig Newtons if you want to come by here and have a fig Newton. So let us get ready for our, our third type of fruit that is edible inside and out. And we are at the bottom of page 10. And again, this is our last blessing that we are going to say over the trees. So with full heart and full appreciation and gratitude for all these amazing things, these trees that give us life, the oxygen for our lungs, and as was mentioned before, all the ways trees benefit us, as well as its delicious fruit. Together we pray, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri ha'etz. Enjoy, everybody. This is very tasty carob. It's not Ghirardelli chocolate, but it's tasty carob. Cantor, you ever cook with carob?
No, not yet. I did recently get tamarind paste, so I'm hoping to cook with that at some point soon.
All right. All right. Well, again, thanks to our ritual committee for providing all of this, these wonderful items for us to enjoy. I'm saving my fig Newtons special for the next thing that we're going to eat. And this is what Reese had mentioned earlier. She mentioned about the grains that grow in the land of Israel. When we look at the Shivit Haminim, or Shivat Haminim, the 7 species of fruit and grain that the Torah talks about, barley and wheat being the 2 that are mentioned in the book of Deuteronomy, but also rye, oats, and spelt are considered grains that are part of Jewish tradition. As a matter of fact, those are the things to avoid. These grains are what we avoid traditionally during Passover.
Except when they're in matzah.
Except when they're in matzah. Good point. Good point. So our ritual committee provided, I'm trying to find it. I've got food everywhere in front of me. Ah, yes, here it is. The recipe from Miss Peggy Nichols of blessed memory. Our 3rd grade teacher years ago, who would make barley pudding for Tu BiShvat, and we included that, our ritual committee included that recipe in the bag of goodies to take home. Oh, that was you, Maggie. Yes, yeah, I picked one up. So Maggie, did you have a chance? I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm wondering if anybody had a chance to make any barley pudding. It includes barley and milk and what you, oh, Emma, you did. Oh my goodness, Emma, you sound like you're a great cook. So you and Mom and Matt made the barley pudding. Oh, Debbie Heller, you made it for the first time? Oh, Emma's so sweet, saying it's not as good as Miss Peggy's. And Debbie, how did yours come out? Did you enjoy it? Well, so barley being one of the, oh, Dan likes it a lot. Very nice. Very nice. Well, we've got that barley pudding recipe too. And if anybody is interested, I'm sure Maggie would be willing to share with you that digital file of how to make it. It doesn't look too difficult. I'm not a cook, but I think even I could probably follow this recipe. It looks great. So if you have, let's see, if you have some grains, if you have some barley or wheat, we saw some challahs, and if you have a challah, you do. If you have a fig Newton or anything, barley pudding, or rye bread, or oat bran, or oatmeal, or spelt. You know, I say the word, I have no idea what a spelt is. I'm sure it's a grain.
It's a grain. Yeah, it's a.
Yeah. Has anybody ever cooked with spelt before? Eaten anything with spelt before?
I think I've eaten spelt. I think I've even seen spelt matzah before, and it's not.
Whoa.
I mean, it doesn't have much, in my opinion.
I was going to say, isn't spelt one of the grains you can have for Passover?
No, it's not. Not that you can't. No, you can have it if it's in matzah. So I remember it BROWS, browse. That's how I remember it. Barley, rye, oats, wheat, and spelt.
I love it, and a great mnemonic for the grains to traditionally Ashkenazic avoid for Passover. Now, when I married April, I love to tell the story. The first time I went to a Seder at April's house, and the family's from Israel, they had all this rice on the table. And I'm like, what are you doing? You can't eat rice. That's another thing you're not supposed to eat, rice or corn. I saw the rice on the table. I said, I can't do that. At my second Passover Seder, I was like, please pass the rice. I converted.
There you go. It's
I
really
converted
just those 5
to Sephardic.
In fact, Rabbi, last year when I did with the sisterhood, the event where we talked about some food traditions related to Passover, one of the reasons in favor of not avoiding kitniot was the fact that it might make it more difficult for you to remember which things you actually are supposed to avoid.
Yeah, right,
Because it's
right.
a very, very long list of kitniot that people avoid.
It is a long one. And some of the liberal branches of Judaism, including the conservative movement, have said in certain situations, maybe you can eat rice, and if that's going to help you with your, a diet, or it's going to help preserve the earth. Again, back to BiShvat and caring for the earth. If it's going to cut down on meat consumption, and if one is a vegetarian and one relies on that during their diet, it is now kosher, even in Ashkenazic circles, to have a bit of rice for Passover. So, but in Reform, we all decide, what's meaningful to us and what practices we're going to keep. So my favorite blessing, one of my favorite blessings in Judaism is in the middle of page 11. It's a blessing on grains, and I like to call this the donut blessing. This is a blessing for donuts. It's a blessing for cakes. It's a blessing for all the desserts that are made with flour and things like that. So I was saving my fig Newton especially for that, because I've got a whole wheat fig Newton here. So I got the fig that's entirely edible. I've got the wheat here. So let's do the blessing together over the grains. We'll all do it, and then we invite you to share in your grains at home. So instead of borei pri ha'etz, it's borei minei mizonot. Borei minei mizonot, for creating species of nourishment. Literally, minei, species, mizonot, mazon, food, nourishment. Those are different species of nourishment. So together we pray, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei minei mizonot. Have always loved fig Newtons. Does anybody else like fig Newtons? Yes, Leonard, always loved fig Newtons.
Rabbi, you're talking about rice. About 40 years ago, I discovered that my family ancestry came from Spain. They left during the Inquisition. And so it turns out I came from a Sephardic background. Everybody in the family did. Nobody was aware of it, but we had some members of the family had a certain disease that my great aunt had it, and a couple other children in the family wound up having it. And it's not Tay-Sachs, it's something to do phantom pain. So you think you're in a terrible pain on your insides. And my great aunt, they thought it was all psychosomatic, but her great granddaughter wound up having it. And they did research at UCLA and one of the universities in Israel, and they discovered only Sephardic Jews had that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you often hear about Ashkenazic Jewish Tay-Sachs disease and things like that, but it also happens, it sounds like, on the Sephardic. I'm so sorry to hear that. And my goodness, amazing things about our genetic code and what we get from our ancestors. And Renee, I just wanted to also reference your note about Cantor leading a very interesting talk about Passover foods. Passover will be just around the corner, believe it or not. It'll get here soon. We've got Purim first and then Passover. Well, speaking of the seasons and the holidays and the seasons, let's come now to our third cup of wine or grape juice. I actually crossed through, if you see on the top, it says Israel spring fruit. Forget that, because we are celebrating summer with our third cup. So that was a bit of a typo there. So this third cup is darker than the last one we had, darker than the rosé and the blush. We fill our cups now with dark grape juice or wine. So we begin with dark grape juice or wine, and we add a dash of white grape juice, and we watch the colors mix, symbolizing summer. This color symbolizes the season of the summer. So we start with dark. So I'm going to pour some dark. And then we add a splash of white. Feel like I'm on the Food Channel now. Okay. For those of you who are wine drinkers, what do you call that color? It's not totally dark, but not a blush. Is there a name for that? A little darker than a blush or rosé?
Beaujolais.
A Beaujolais. Oh, I like that. Thank you, Ben. A Beaujolais. Very nice. Very nice. Well, we invite you to now lift your third cup as Cantor leads us in the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen l'chaim.
L'chaim. That is tasty.
I wanted to share with everybody now. It's so interesting how the calendar works out. It was the same situation last year where we had Shabbat Shira coinciding with our BiShvat Seder. So the same thing is happening tonight. For those of you who don't know, Shabbat Shira is our Shabbat of song. Specifically, it's because Parashat Beshalach, the portion in the Torah in which we have the parting of the Sea of Reeds and the women dancing and singing along with Miriam the prophetess, singing Micha Mocha, which is something that we sing every day. And it's actually the first documented song lyrics of the whole Tanakh. And this is the time when we would read from that in the Torah. This is our portion for this weekend, this Shabbat. So a lot of congregations across the world, special for Shabbat Shira, they like to add lots of extra songs in for Shabbat, or they pay special attention to Micha Mocha. And so for tonight, as an homage to Shabbat Shira, and also to Debbie Friedman of blessed memory, whose 11th yard site was earlier this week, want to sing Miriam's song and as a Micha Mocha mashup. So if any of you have your if you have any of you have your percussion instruments at home, this isn't really a timbrel, it's a tambourine, but that's, I think, the closest that we have. If anybody has a tambourine or anything, you want to dance around, clap, and just sing joyously, that's what this song is all about. So we'll put the words on the screen for you, and please join us for Miriam's song.
Thank you, Cantor. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. And I did see some timbrels there. I did see some timbrels with some of our students. So thank you guys. Thank you for dancing and doing percussion along with Miriam and Cantor. That was wonderful. Well, we now come to our fourth cup of wine or grape juice. We come to the autumnal season. Our fourth cup is all red. Summer ends, the trees are filled with blossoming flowers, and the crops are growing tall as we reach autumn, the season of the harvest. So we're going to pour now entirely red or grape color, entirely red grape juice or wine. Now, would this be something like a Pinot Noir? Is that like a dark, is that a dark wine?
Cabernet.
Oh, a Cabernet. Thank you, Tina.
Malbec is
Thank
also
you,
pretty
Tina.
dark.
All right, it's good to hear from Tina, our wine maven, who
Wine connoisseur.
wine connoisseur. Yes, indeed, indeed. Well, as we lift our fourth and final cup during our Tu BiShvat Seder, and we drink in the autumn, Cantor leads us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen l'chaim.
L'chaim. Is Manischewitz a Cabernet? It's its own entity.
I mean, it's dark.
Yeah, it's dark.
At least it's got that. You know that it's dark, but
All right, Francis has it. There we go.
does
Very
Manischewitz
nice.
even bother to call itself like a Cabernet or a Pinot or anything like that? It's just it's Manischewitz, right?
Yeah,
Manischewitz.
just about have it.
Just you know what you're getting when you get Manischewitz.
Absolutely. It's like Madonna or Cher or is the name Zendaya? Is that the new
Zendaya, yeah, she has one name. I
Zendaya?
mean,
Zendaya.
presumably she has a last name too, but she doesn't use it.
Yes, yes. So it's like that. It just, you just know it by its first name. Well, at the bottom of page 13, as we're enjoying this last cup of wine or grape juice, this really is the purpose of the Tu BiShvat Seder that the Kabbalists created long ago. In addition to our enjoyment and our appreciation of the earth and of the trees and of the fruit of the trees, it really is thanking God and hopeful for a bountiful harvest and a good year, And we could all use a bountiful, fruitful year right now. We could all use that. So let's say together at home, if you'll please stay muted, but we'll all say together this hope and this prayer that we have that this Seder represents. May it be your will, O God, that for the merit of the fruits and foods we eat and through which we praise you, that this will be a fruitful and a bountiful year for us. Amen. Amen. So as we've been thanking God for everything that all the enjoyment of the natural world, let's now talk about our responsibility as God's partners to care for this wonderful, precious, miraculous world in which we live. And to help us do so, and by the way, we're on page 14, we are so delighted to again call upon Madeline Paulding and Reese Guthman, third graders, and we're also going to call upon Jan Freed. Jan is a member of our Climate Justice Committee, and many of you may recall Jan was instrumental in helping Temple Sinai go solar. So we reduce our carbon footprint. There are 125 solar panels above our sanctuary on the roof. And so Madeline will start us off on page 14, and then Reese, and then Jan as they share in caring for the world. Madeline, whenever you are ready.
The Torah tells us, I shall make human beings in my image, after my likeness. They shall rule the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, the cattle, the whole earth, and all the creeping things that creep on the earth.
Thank you, Madeline. Yes, Reese, we'd be honored to have you do that response.
When God led Adam through the Garden of Eden, God told him, I made my beautiful and glorious world for your sake. Take care not to hurt or destroy my world, for if you do, there is no one to fix it after you.
Wow. Thank you, Reese. Thank you. And Jan, we'd be honored.
We have a clear responsibility to protect the garden that has been given to us and to assure that others recognize the divine injunction to watch over and protect all of it. Animals, birds, flowering fields, mountains, lakes, trees, and humankind itself. If not now, when? The day is short and the work is great. While it is not for us to finish the job, neither are we free to desist from doing our share.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you. Thank you, Reese. Thank you, Madeline. You know, when in Judaism, when we talk about mitzvot, the 613 mitzvot, and sometimes in the Talmudic tradition, there are discussions about what's the greatest mitzvah, what's the most important principle of Torah. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in an upcoming class called Living Judaism, which is 2 Sundays from now. So on Sunday, January 23rd from 10 to 11:30, I'm calling it Living Judaism, Judaism's Best Ideas. And we'll talk a little bit about one of those discussions about what's the most important principle in mitzvah in the Torah. Right now, during the pandemic, we could say the Jewish principle of pikuach nefesh, saving life. It's one of the most important Jewish values right now. And we know maybe right next to it is the mitzvah of caring for the earth, protecting the earth, not destroying this precious planet that we've been given. such an important mitzvah in our time, and we know how each and every one of you are doing your part, being God's partner in caring for this beautiful, beautiful world which we've been given. So, so thank you all. Thank you all. And, you know, because it's Shabbat, well, first of all, we have a wonderful Tu BiShvat song to conclude our service, and then we'll have virtual Oneg. But since it is Shabbat, as we do each and every Shabbat here at Temple Sinai, we're going to now say special prayers for people that we know who are in need of healing, a healing of body and a healing of spirit. And we invite you to please join us in this Misha Berach prayer of healing, which is right there on the screen.
May the source of strength who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
At this time, we invite you to put the names of loved ones in the chat box, family members, friends, people you're thinking of now who are in need of healing. Our Misha Berach prayer of healing is for all of them. So as we're putting those names in the chat box, we also think of all of the folks listed on the on our Misha Berach page, all of these temple members who are in need of healing, all of these family members who are in need of healing. And tonight I'm thinking of Dorothy Broomer. All of these temple members, all of these family members, and all of these friends and coworkers who are in need of healing. As the names continue in the chat box, our prayer of healing is for all of them.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We pray they are all healed. Well, our Jewish worship is not complete until we think of those people, family members and friends and members of our community who have passed away, and yet who remain very much with us in our hearts and our minds and our souls as an abiding blessing. And as I mention the name of a loved one who has passed, I invite you to please stand, and then in just a moment, we'll all stand together to recite the Kaddish prayer. This Shabbat, we say Kaddish for Marion Parnes and David Lieberman. Our Kaddish prayer is for Susan Schwartz, Leon Johnson, and Stephen Snitzer, Anita Honey Barr. Our prayers for Vera Schneiderman and Joan Kaffel Ettlinger, Janet Jeffries, and Jennifer Woody, Nancy Lord, and Barbara Bolter, Sandra Gainan. Our prayers for Charlotte Hellman and Sylvia Miller, Karen Ness, Fred Michaels. Our Kaddish prayers for Linda Luna. And it's also for those whose yahrzeit occurs this week. So we remember this Shabbat At the yard site, the anniversary of the death of a loved one that's commemorated this week, we remember Marguerite Meller and Lionel Michael, and Isaac Berman. We remember Janice Bente, Julio Plute. We remember Jose E. Luna Sr. And we remember our dear friend, third grade teacher, Peggy Nichols. We remember Ernestine Erkin, Helen Stevenson. We remember Dorothy Simmons, Evelyn Cantor, William Bill Hymanson, David Levy, Harold Leff, Billy Morham, Sarah Poska, Rebecca Rosenthal, and Joseph Weissman. And at this time, we also invite you to list in the chat box a loved one who has passed that you're thinking of tonight. Our Kaddish prayer is for them as well. And we invite you to please rise as we thank God that they were all with us, that they were all on this earth. Together we pray. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
V'alma divarach chirutei v'amlich malchutei. V'chaye chon u'vyom echon u'v'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael v'agala u'bizman kari v'imru Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudesha berichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata d'amiran v'alma v'imru Amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleno v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mroma hu ya'aseh shalom alenu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn. May we be a source of comfort to all who are bereaved. And together we say, Amen. And please be seated, everybody.
As always, we want to conclude our Kaddish prayer with Oseh Shalom, a prayer for peace. Please join me. Oseh Shalom, Shalom b'Ramah, u'yaseh Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'iru Amen. U'yaseh Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Oseh Shalom, Shalom b'Ramah, u'yaseh Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'iru Amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael Amen.
Well, at this time, we are honored to call upon Temple Board member, our dear friend Flo Cohen.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. There we go. Thank you, Rabbi and Cantor, for leading such a fun and informative service. And a special thanks to Liam Boxer, Reese Guthman, Eiler Lawrenson, Ezra Nova Lake, Madeline Paulding, Julian Wilkes, for doing such a wonderful job with your presentations, to their amazing third grade teacher, Frances Tiger, and their teen assistant who helped them get ready, Sarah Gallegos. Thank you to the Temple Ritual Committee for coordinating the food and for pivoting so quickly and effectively from what was supposed to have been an in-person Seder. We've got some great events coming up. Emotional resiliency class on Monday, or session on Monday at 7 p.m. via Zoom. Our Jewish film group meeting next Wednesday at 6:30 to discuss the documentary Outback Rabbis. And join us next Friday in the sanctuary for our monthly musical Shabbat with the TSG band. And you'll find Zoom links to all of these and details about all this and more in Sunday's email blast. Now, if I can take a second, many of you know about the campership program that Sisterhood has sponsored for years. We give scholarships to students attending Jewish camps in exchange for service they do to the temple all year round. And even though we're not a temple all that much right now, the campership program is still going strong. The problem is the two co-chairs have run it for the last 2 years. Their kids are aging out. And so if you want campership available for your kids going forward, we need to have 2 or 3 people who are willing to co-chair the program beginning in the fall. If you're a parent who cares about campership and getting money for your kid to go to a Jewish camp, please contact Danny Schlichter or Mark Goldstein for more information. And that's about it. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Flo. Thank you so much. And thank you also for helping the Ritual Committee prepare the goodie bags to take home to celebrate the Tu B'Shvat Seder. We greatly appreciate it. And again, to our 3rd graders and their families, and Francis Tiger and Sarah Gallegos, and to everybody, and Cantor and to Jason, to everybody who was involved, our Ritual Committee, thank you all so much. And just what Flo was saying too about campership, this is one of the most unique programs, I think, in North America here at Temple Sinai. So if you do have a child who goes to a Jewish summer camp and you want to see this great program, the leadership continue as Mark and Danny step down their post, we would ask you to help, and thank you again so much. And we're going to conclude our Tu B'Shvat Seder tonight with our final song, and then we'll have our virtual oneg. So please stay for virtual oneg. It's been a while since we've been able to chat with each other and catch up. So please stay with us.
All right, everybody. So please join me. I think you know this one. Plant a tree for Tu B'Shvat. And I think we'll put the words on the screen. All right. So we're going to plant a tree for Tu B'Shvat and go through the whole process watching it grow. Let's dig a hole. Let's dig a hole and plant the seed. Let's water it, oh, let's water it, cause it is Tu B'Shvat. Look at the sprouts. Look at the sprouts, they're coming up. Let's water them, oh, let's water them, cause it is Tu B'Shvat. Trees are blowing in the wind, they're blowing. Trees are blowing in the wind. Whoosh. Trees are blowing in the wind, they're blowing. Trees are blowing in the wind. Look at the leaves. Look at the leaves, they're growing now. Let's water them, oh, let's water them, cause it is Tu B'Shvat. Look at the trunk. The trunk is so much bigger now. Let's water it, oh, let's water it, cause it is Tu B'Shvat. Look at the tree. The tree is so much taller now. Let's water it, oh, let's water it, cause it is Tu B'Shvat. Trees are blowing in the wind, they're blowing. Trees are blowing in the wind. Whoosh. Trees are blowing in the wind, they're blowing. Trees are blowing in the wind. Just look at me. Just look at me, I'm taller now. Don't water me, please, don't water me, cause it is Tu B'Shvat. Don't water me, please, don't water me, cause it is Tu B'Shvat. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Chag Sameach.
Shabbat Shalom, Hag Sameach, and MLK Day on Monday. May it be a meaningful day. Thank you all for joining us, and please stay for Oneg. Let's unmute everybody, and we can wish each other Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Kita Gimel rocks.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.